Hey, this is Dizzy Reed from Guns N' Roses, and you're watching GNR Central. Yeah!
Hey everybody, what's going on, and welcome to GNR Central, and today we're talking about the first film that Slash ever produced. So, several years back, he started a production company called Slasher Films, and the first movie he put out was back in 2013. It was a movie called There's Nothing Left to Fear. Now, what's funny is it was first released in Russia on September 26, 2013, and it received a pretty limited theatrical release on October 4th, the same year in the United States. It also got a video-on-demand release before being released on DVD and Blu-ray later on in the year. Now, the film was inspired by the urban legends surrounding Stoll, Kansas, which is rumored to be one of the 7 known gateways to hell. Here's a short clip of Slash talking about the inspiration behind the film.
The story was totally influenced by the mythology that surrounds Stoll, Kansas.
Which is supposed to be like one of the 7 gates of hell, is that right?
It was one of the gateways to hell. I mean, everybody knows this.
Yeah.
And especially people who live in and around Stoll. There's a famous or infamous graveyard there, which attracts a lot of visitors. That's supposed to be pretty gnarly. There's bands that won't play in the adjacent city. The Pope won't fly over it.
Hello? Anyone here?
It's really supposedly a very nice little town, but because it's got this folklore about it, it's permanently haunted.
So let's talk about the Stoll Cemetery. So the cemetery has gained an ominous reputation due to urban legends involving Satan and the purported gateway to hell. So the rumors about the cemetery were first popularized back in November of 1974 when the University of Daily Kansan, it was the student newspaper of the University of Kansas, claimed that the devil appeared in Stoll twice a year, once on Halloween and once on the spring equinox. People soon said that the cemetery was the location of one of the 7 gateways to hell and that the nearby evangelical Emmanuel Church ruin was possessed by the devil. However, most academics, historians, and local residents are in agreement that the legend has no basis in historical fact and was created and spread by students. So in the years that followed 1974, the publication of the University Daily Kansan article, it was a popular activity for young folks, especially high school and college students from Lawrence or Topeka, to journey to the cemetery on Halloween or the equinox to, quote, see the devil. Many people would jump fences or otherwise sneak their way onto the property, and over decades, as the number of people making excursions to the cemetery grew, the graveyard started to deteriorate. This was exacerbated by vandals. So to combat this, a county sheriff's office patrols the area around the cemetery, especially on Halloween, and will arrest people for trespassing. Those caught inside the cemetery after it is closed could face a maximum fine of $1,000 and up to 6 months in jail. So despite its dubious origins, the legend of the Stoll Cemetery has been referenced numerous times in pop culture. So the band Urge Overkill released the Stoll EP in 1992, which featured the church and a tombstone from the cemetery on the cover, and films whose plot is based on the legends include, of course, Slash's film Nothing Left to Fear, Turbulence 3 and Heavy Metal, and an unreleased film called Sin Jin Smith. The cemetery is also the site of the final confrontation between Lucifer and Michael in Swan Song, the season 5 finale of the television series Supernatural. So let's talk a bit about the history of the movie. So plans to film Nothing Left to Fear were first announced in 2010 when Slash announced his intent to launch his own production company, Slasher Films, with Nothing Left to Fear as its flagship film. So originally Thomas Hayden Church was initially named as one of the stars of the film, but his name was later removed from the production for unspecified reasons. Following that, Clancy Brown and Ethan Peck were added to the cast in early 2012, joining Anne Heche and James Tupper. So filming for the movie began on May 14, 2012, around the time that Apocalyptic Love came out, which was Slash's first album with Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators. They filmed the movie in Covington, Louisiana, and film rights for Nothing Left to Fear was purchased by Anchor Bay. So any subsequent production to the film's screenplay credits were determined in arbitration by the Writers Guild of America, and it was found that the original screenplay by Jonathan W.C. Mills had been extensively rewritten by producer Rob Eric. While not uncommon in Hollywood, the original draft of the screenplay was quite different than the final produced version. Slash also contributed music to the film with Nicholas O'Toole. The soundtrack of the film is mostly scoring except for 2 songs, one of which features Miles Kennedy on vocals. So prior to writing the score, Slash approached the director with several musical styles and asked the director to choose which style best fits the film. Around the time that filming started, Slash did face a bit of backlash from the Stoll residents who were wary of the rock guitarist film project. So around the time that the movie started filming, there was a report in the Hollywood Reporter that covers the entertainment industry where they went and interviewed some of the residents, and they gave their feedback to the announcement that their town would be used as a setting for Slash's upcoming movie. So they interviewed a resident named Iona Spencer, who said, "I would like to get a hold of whoever this fellow is," she said, "who lived near the cemetery for the last 65 years, so I can tell him to just shut it up." Spencer went on to say that people don't understand that what they do to the cemetery is very hurtful to those of us who have loved ones here, said Spencer. She said she had buried 10 family members in the cemetery, and neighbors in the area have tried to ward off the cemetery's association with the occult for decades now. Spencer estimated that it was around the 1970s when, random students started showing up at the cemetery on Halloween. She thinks because a professor and a report in the student newspaper billed the cemetery as haunted. She said, "One time we had several hundred kids standing on graves because they were told if they stood on a grave, the devil would come up," Spencer said. Well, guess what? He didn't come up. Now let's talk about the reviews that the film received. Now, I have not seen the film myself, largely because of how bad the reviews are. So according to Rotten Tomatoes, a majority of the reviews were negative. As of December 15, 2013, the film held a measly 8% Rotten score based on 12 reviews. So critics generally panned the film as dull and criticized it for its lack of scares. So that does it for this episode of Guns N' Roses True Story. I wanted to do this one because it's been in the news lately that Slash has got another 4 films that have closed deals. And we don't know what they're called or what the plot is or when they're going to come out. But I thought this might be a cool true story since we've been talking a lot about music lately and wanted to change it up a bit. So let me know, have you guys seen There Was Nothing Left to Fear? What did you think of it in the comment section below? Or are you guys interested in seeing it? Let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit the like button if you enjoyed that video, and be sure to subscribe if you love Guns N' Roses as much as I do. And you guys can also go follow us on gnrcentral.com for the latest and greatest Guns N' Roses news. And you can also go support us on Patreon if you want us to continue making videos just like this. Take care.
Listen, you want us to be here watching Guns N' Roses.